Welcome friends to the class of marketing research and analysis. Today we will be discussing about a very important part of the marketing research subject. Earlier we had discussed about the process and things like scale and research design, etc. Today what we are going to do is we are going to discuss about another important topic, that is sampling. Okay. So, what exactly is a sample and why is a sample important? Why do we require a sample? In times it is very tough to, it is very difficult to analyze over a population, that means a census or a population or a large set of people or anybody, right. So, in such a condition what happens when the market is large or the number of people involved in the population is very high, in such condition it becomes really impossible or near to impossible to take every element of the or every unit of the population and then make a analysis over it, and it is not advisable also, neither it is wise, right. So, in such a situation what we do is we just take an element a small part of that population and then decide what it is going to how it is going to reflect the population. Take in case for example in many of the households where rice is being cooked, right. So, what does the mother or anybody who is cooking, what she does is basically to check whether the rice has been cooked properly or not. Instead of getting into the whole pot of rice, the mother tries to find out, take a handful of rice or a few rice samples and then checks whether it is actually cooked or not cooked, right. So, this is the same thing that we are going to do. So, let us see what is how exactly what is sample and what is the process. So, it says sampling is nothing but the process of obtaining information, right. In marketing research, the very first class we said it is all about information, right. But here we are saying that the information is brought from a subset or a small group of people or small sample of a large group, right. That means if this is let us say the board which is the entire market or let us say the entire population, instead of taking the entire population we will take a small part of it, right, and then try to say through this small part whether our larger whole would also behave in a particular manner or not. Okay. The results of the sample are then used to make estimates of the larger group, right. So, the whole, as I said, to a few elements of rice you take, your mother takes, and from there she deduces whether the whole pot of rice has been properly cooked or not cooked. Okay. Obviously, it is faster and cheaper. So, if you go back to the same example and think, the two key elements but in the sample is, first is when you are getting into a sample, since you said that we said that the sample is in a way reflecting the population, is a reflection or say reflection of the population, right. That means we are saying it is a true representative, in other terms we say it is a true representative, right. So, if sample is a reflection of the population, right. So, what should it have? So, if you by chance you take those elements which are not correct or not truly representative, then it will be a problem. So, first thing is the right subjects or the right sample, you can say. It might be people, it might be things, it could be anything. Well, let us not confuse only with people, because I have written people here. So, because if company is working on tries to check the whole a new car has come out and the company wants to know, Maruti suppose wants to know whether all the cars have a particular have any problem or not, they are not going to check the whole lot of the cars, rather they would pick up a few number of cars, like a few batches or a few numbers, and then from there they would try to estimate whether the whole lot of cars will also have any problem or not have any problem. Suppose let us say the sample says there is a problem in the defect or a defect in the let us say the light or let us say in the door, then from there we can maybe conclude that this if this sample is also having this problem, then the population will also have a problem of the defect problem of the doors, for example, right. But in this case, suppose by mistake we are taking a wrong sample, right, then what happens, right. So, if we take a wrong sample, we will say ki no, there is no problem, right, there is no problem, or otherwise we will say there is a problem, whereas actually there was no problem. So, just the opposite, right. So, selecting the right sample is very important, and the point is how many is a question, how many is the right one, right. Suppose in the case of rice, we said maybe a few flakes of rice, maybe a few 3, 4, 5, 10 maybe would good enough, right. But in a case, in other cases, a very small sample size also might not be adequate, neither a very large sample size, right. So, people have to be very clear that there has to be a balance, right. So, sample size neither can go too down nor it should be extremely high, because the whole logic of doing a sample was to not to do a population, right, not to do a census study, not to take the overall population, so to save cost and time. So, if you are taking too many, actually it does not give you any additional information. So, why take an unnecessary large sample size? It does not make a sense. But if you take too less, there could be a problem, that actually what happens is when you take a particular number of sample size, let us say the number, if it is a right number, then what happens, some of the defects or some of the problems are generally balanced out through this number. If you have a sufficient number, this will balance out through the means or through a particular measure of statistics, it will help you to balance out, okay. So, that is why these two are very important, selecting the right sample and this right number, okay. So, what is how do you do it? Sampling, it is contacting a portion of the population. It is good when you have a very large population. So, suppose you want to study about India. So, are we going to study the whole of India, 1.2 billion population? Impossible, right. So, when it is a very large population, one. Second is, it is easy when the population is homogeneous, obviously, right. A population, if it is heterogeneous, then the characteristics are different, and if the characteristics are different, then it is very difficult to say that it would be a true representation, right. To have a true representation, it should be as homogeneous, as similar as possible, okay. In which cases are census better? Census is nothing but the same population, right. It is useful when the population is a finite population, a case of let us say finite population or a small population, let us say a small population, or in some cases you may also understand as some of the times it is a finite population, finite. So, finite actually does not make the true meaning out of it, but what I want to explain here is finite means when I am saying a small number of when the entire population is finite, is limited, is small rather, you can say. The second is, if the cost of making an error is extremely high, right. Now, suppose let us say, now there is a study, let us understand in this way, there is a study being conducted about a particular rare disease, right, a particular rare disease which is very new in the world, right. So, in such a condition, if you take a, let us say if you take a small sample, already the population is very small, is limited, and if you take a small and then if you make an error, then maybe your interpretation for the population might go wrong, and which can be very dangerous. Suppose you say that this disease is not infectious, let us say this disease is actually infectious, but from the population from the sample you said it is not infectious, then in such a condition disease being a very important thing, a very dangerous thing, it becomes extremely harsh and dangerous, and we should be careful about it, okay. Now, so when we have to do, so the conditions favoring are budget here is small, population census is large, time short, you take a long time, population size is good when the large population size is there, when it is good when the small population size is there, right. So, these are some of the differences you have to see, right, like the nature of measurement is destructive for example, and this is non destructive. Now, how, what do you understand? You have to see all these things, right? Attention to individual cases, yes, there is an attention to individual cases. Here there is no attention, because obviously the sample is so large, you can't have an one to one attention. So these are the some of the problems. Here the variance in the characteristics is small. Why? Because it is a sample study. Here the variance would automatically be large, because the population is so large in number, right. So what it is saying is, these conditions are favoring the use of census. When the census is to be used, when the sampling errors are high, so it is better to use a census. When the sampling errors are low, you have to understand you have to take a sample. So all these are similarly you have to understand when to use sample, when to use census. As I said again, short, it is the time you have a less time, so go for a sample. You have a large time, go for a census. So these are the differences. Okay. Now this is something like a population, a part is the sample, right. Now this is, if the population and sample are two different things, they are not explaining about each other, the sample does not represent the population, then what is the use of doing such a study? So the characteristics are, it should be accessible, first of all, it should be representative, accessible and low cost. That means the sample, when you draw a sample, the sample should be a representative, it should be easily accessible, measurable. So these are the characteristics, right, and you should be consuming low cost. So these are the some of the characteristics. Let us see the terminologies involved. As I discussed, population we know, right, the entire group. Element or sampling unit is a one single unit. Let us say in a class of 50 students, the class, let us say the population is 50. So each student 1, 2, 3, 4, each is an unit or element, right. So sampling, the selection of a subset. So from the sample of 50, let us say you are trying to take only 5 students or 10 students, so that is the sample. The sampling frame is basically, as I earlier had also stated, if I remember, sampling frame is that directory or any available document from which the data is generated or extracted, right. So listing of population from which a sample is chosen. So entire census, okay. So let us see how the sampling design process goes. First we define the population, right, this is the first thing. Then is you define the sample frame, that is means the from where we are going to collect the sample, okay. Third is to determine the sampling procedure. Now here actually what happens, when you determine the sampling procedure, there are two things, right. Sampling is done in two ways. So one we say is probabilistic or random sampling, right, or random sampling. The other is non-probabilistic or non-random, okay. So now again each of them have their own set of ones, right. So once you decide what sampling method should I use in my study, whether should I use a probabilistic method, a random method or a non-random method, we will see. And then after deciding, right, you determine what is the right sample size. Now there are no one can use statistics, there are, but generally sometimes we have some very thumbs rule, like rule of thumb, where we decide ki what is the number of sample size. I will tell you also that. So finally after doing this, either you calculate or you have your other methods, and then you execute the sampling design. Now target population, basically it says ideally who do you want to survey, that is those who have the information sought, what are their characteristics, who should be excluded. So this is what is basically the target population. The target population is somebody from where for which our research is the objective of the research is connected to, basically let us understand that way, right. So it for example, what age of people, what is what should be their gender, who are they the users of any product, right. So these are some of the things which are which help you in defining the target population. It involves the population units, it establishes a boundary. For example, if you do a study in, let us say, Asia, or let us say in India, or let us say in Kerala, then the sample it is changing, the population is changing, right. So having a boundary, and then you have the screening questions, right. So this is something like let us begin with. So the element is the most smallest unit, or the element of the unit, let us say these two are very similar. So it is an individual or family, right. Then while defining the element, we say individuals over 20, families with 2 kids for example, right. Extend the geographical boundaries are people or we can have a the extent, it might be geographical or it might be something like only families who eat fast food, right. So, we have a it might be not be geographical boundary as such. So, it could be a boundary, that is there is a limitation, that means only people who are eating fast food, not necessarily a geographical boundary, right. Students doing MR or marketing research, okay. Now, timing is also very important, right, while defining the target population. So, that means a study only which has been data from of people who within the last, let us say 7 days in this case, or only within the last 1 year, or what is your time frame, that you have to decide, right. So, let us say the sampling frame. Now, earlier also I have said students who eat at McDonald's is a list of population, right, young people at random in the street, phone book, right, your yellow pages we said, right, university mailing list. These are some of the ways you collect the sampling frame. This is what the sampling frame actually is completely comprising of, right. So, while designing the sampling frame, after designing sampling frame, then we get into this sampling design, right. So, as I said, we have 2 types of designs. So, the non-probabilistic and the probabilistic, or the probabilistic vice versa, right. So, let us start with the one which is non-probabilistic in nature, right. So, what does a non-probabilistic sample say, right? A non-probabilistic, as the name suggests to you, is something that is let us say random in nature, non-random in nature, sorry. Non-probabilistic. So, the probability of choosing a sample is not equal, right. So, probability says that the chances of selecting somebody, a unit or an element from a population, every unit is equal, right. But here in a non-probabilistic case we are saying it is not equal, right. So, if it is not equal, then what is there? So, what are the different ways of what are the different sampling non-probabilistic sampling techniques? The first is the convenience. So, as the name suggests, as we understand, convenience sampling is nothing but something that is available close to you, right, easily available, right. So, let us see, right, I am not getting into this. Let us go to the sampling, convenience sampling. It attempts to obtain a sample of convenient elements, right. Respondents are selected because they happen to be in the right place at the right time. So, luckily you are going on the street and you found somebody, he smiled at you and you are now asking him to fill up your data. So, it is as good as that, right. So, when you are doing it, so people in my class, in the mall, right, while walking in the mall. So, people with some specific characteristics, you found a bald man and you feel he is your because your study is related to something baldness and you feel anybody could be a one. So, that is something like what we say is a convenience sampling, but the danger of convenience sampling is when you get something very easy, there are some pitfalls also. Convenience sampling should be is not accurate to be used during any conclusive study. Please remember this. Conclusive means what I say is descriptive or causal, right, or and not or and causal and causal. So, in these 2 types of studies convenience sampling should not be used. So, if you are a researcher, if you are a PhD student or you are any student doing research, please remember it. This might be a question that might be asked you in any panel, any panelist might ask you that if you have by chance used a convenience sampling, then how did you use these tools and statistical tools and all, because they are not appropriate, because convenience sampling does not allow you to do that, right. It is not permissible, it is not desirable to do it, right. So, what is convenience sampling good at? Now, when you are doing an exploratory study, so when you are in the process of building the hypothesis, so and you are doing it, at that time it is good, right. So, researchers could quickly find out what features most teenagers use from their cell phones would be to go to a local mall and survey the teens they find. So, any teen there would be a part of the convenience sampling. Similarly, what brand of medications doctors prefer to prescribe to people over 65, you can find out, the researcher can find out by visiting a doctor's office and collecting data from willing patients that fit the profile. Now, willing patients are not necessarily the right patients. So, we are not questioning about right or wrong right now, but whatever. So, that is only a way of convenience. Okay. Second is judgment. Now, convenience had its problems, right. So, once convenience has its problems, we think of the next. So, what is the next? The next we are saying, talking about is judgment. Okay. So, now the researcher feels, okay, let us use some kind of a judgment. Now, convenience was not exactly, although judgment is also a part of the convenience sampling only, but only convenience does not help. So, let us make it little more refined, little more rigor, right, and we will, what we will do is we will use a judgmental sampling. So, he uses his judgment here, right. So, let us say, for example, I have already given you, explained you about test market earlier. So, test markets are markets where a company wants to test whether a new product they have brought to the market will do well or not. Now, how do they do it? Now, to do a test market, initially you have to find out which is the right test market. Okay. So, how do you do that? Now, you first of all go to, you think who could be your target population. So, once you understand your target population, then automatically from here you try to see which are the cities or towns, right, which have such a kind of structure of population, right, such a population structure in terms of age, in terms of income, in terms of gender, in terms of religion, demographic generally speaking, okay, or psychography, it could be anything, but generally speaking demographics, right. So, from there you test it. So, now I am using, suppose in the case of test markets I will use a judgmental sampling, because although there are so many cities in India, but to have this right test market I would use my judgment, which is the one. So, it is not convenience, any city is not one I am selecting, I am selecting only the ones which are fitting to my target population, right. So, my target market. Purchase engineers selected in industrial marketing research, because these are the best people who are involved in the purchase process. So, they would be the best to tell us about any industrial marketing study. Expert witnesses used in court. Now, anybody in a court, the court asks only people who are experts, right. Expert witnesses means they are the people who have an idea what has actually happened, right. So, this is an example, a study where the researcher wants to know what it takes to graduate, how difficult or how easy it is to graduate in Sanskrit in college, right. The people who can give the researcher first hand advice are the ones who have done in graduation in Sanskrit. Suppose you have not done graduation in Sanskrit, how would you be or I be the best people, best person to answer it. So, this is something what we do in a judgmental sampling. Third is the snowball sampling. So, the snowball sampling is something very popular nowadays in many of the firms also, right. What happens in snowball? As you see, snowball sampling says that first of all you select an initial group of respondent or and or sample units, and then these these representatives or respondents will help in collecting other respondents or pulling in other respondents for the study, right. So, what I mean here is it is snowballing, it is slow, it is also called as referral sampling, it is also called as referral sampling, referral. So, you refer. So, for example, you must have seen in software companies, what they do, they try to bring in, they ask their employee to give a name of any other friend or somebody who is good at the subject, right. So, that particular kind of language or platform or something. So, in such a condition this is snowball sampling, they say it is snowball sampling, right. So, suppose for example, there is a rare disease, the researcher might use snowball sampling because it is difficult to obtain the subjects. Suppose it is a very rare disease, it is suppose there is something called a study in which there was a study in which people it was a study on those people who are ambidextrous, means they use both their hands, right. Some players you must have seen, like they are right handed bowlers and left handed right handed bowlers and left handed batsmen or vice versa. So, now such people are not generally found, right. So, if 1 is there, then he can always give, maybe there is a probability that he might be able to refer somebody else's name, because he might be knowing people around like who are similar or having similar behavior like him or her. So, this is something like snowball sampling. Now comes the quota sampling. The fourth is the quota sampling. So, what is a quota sampling? A quota sampling, if you see, is a two staged judgmental sampling. It is a two stage. So, what is the two stage? Now, the first stage consists of developing the categories, control categories, right, or what you say is quota, right, of the population. So, the population has been divided into different control categories which are called quotas. In the second stage, sample elements are selected based on some method like convenience or judgment. So, let us take this example. Suppose in a case, for example, let us say now you want to do a quota sampling. So, the entire population, let us say this is the population, right, this is the sample. So, what we do is, suppose the entire population there are, let us say divided into male, female, right, let us say and you want 1000 respondents altogether, right, you have to figure out. So, now for example, let us say in a population of whatever, let us say there are 40% or 60% male and 40% female, let us say, right, in the entire population. So, when I am taking the sample also I will do the same. Suppose I have 1000 respondents, so I will take 600 respondents from male and 400 from female. Now, suppose you also divide it from the terms of, let us say, religion. Now, Hindu, let us say Christian, let us say Muslim, right. Now, Hindus let us say are 34%, let us say Christians are let us say Hindus being a little higher, because this is for 54, Christians let us say are 21 and the remaining let us say 50, 60, 70 or let us say and 22 is let us say Muslims. So, and others being the rest, let us say others, okay. So, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 92, 93, 97, the rest is 3%, okay. So, when I am doing this, what I will do, now out of that means 1000, 540 will be my sample, 210, 220 and only 3, right, not 3, 30. So, this is my entire the way of collecting the sample. So, quota sampling, but here when I have collected, I have collected these samples on basis of the convenience or judgment, that is the difference between a quota sampling and others, okay. So, in a study, suppose it says the researcher likes to compare the academic performance of the different high school class levels, its relationship with gender and socio-economic status. First, it identifies the subgroups. The subgroups are characteristics or variables of the study, okay. The researcher divides the entire population into two classes or two class levels, intersected with gender and socio-economic. So, the same thing that I explained, right, in the last year. So, once we have done with this, so these are something we have talked about our non-probabilistic sampling, okay. Now, we will go to the next, that is the probabilistic sampling. So, what is the probabilistic sampling? As we said, probabilistic sampling is something where the chance of selecting a respondent is equal, right. The respondent that you are sample you are choosing is equal, everybody has got an equal chance of getting selected. So, let us say let us go to the one. So, what it is saying, every unit population has a chance greater than 0 of being selected in the sample, and this probability can be accurately determined. Every population every element in the population does have the same probability of selection, right. So, everybody has an equal chance, okay. Now, let us say this is the population, this is the sampling frame and this is the sample, right. So, this sample is chosen, and this sample here, why this diagram is shown, that this sample is nothing but it is whatever you will infer from this sample will be used to define this population, okay. So, in a way during the probabilistic sampling, therefore, let me tell you this, I do not know whether I have mentioned it here or not. So, the probabilistic sampling is much better to or more advisable to be used in all kind of experimental studies. In all kind of experimental studies, it is advisable to go for a probabilistic method of sampling, okay. So, so what it is doing? It is mathematical theory. It says, for example, each unit has a non-zero and known probability of selection. Mathematical theory is available to assess the sampling error. Now, sampling error is something which is, you can say, the researcher is accepting the amount of mistake that can be or the allowable mistake, you can say, right. So, these are some of the things. Let us go to the first one, let us say. So, simple random sampling is the most purest. The first one is called simple random sampling. So, simple random sampling says you just simply select the respondent by a chance method, right, by a probabilistic method. So, if there are, let us say 50 people in my class, so I blindly I just pull out 5 people, I do not see and I pull out 5 people, and these 5 people when I see, it might be a girl, it might be a boy, it might be somebody who is not a part of my class, but by chance he has come out into the class and sitting, that could be possible, but this is a rare thing, we should avoid that discussion. But generally I do not know whether he might be a student who is never attending the class, he is a very absent minded student, so he might not be the right desirable student, but still I have given equal chance to everybody. Okay. So, this is my simple random. So, the population applicable when the population is small, homogeneous and readily available in my class, as I said, right. So, this is I am not going this is like a lottery system. Okay. So, I am not spending too much of time in this. So, let me go to the how it looks like, the simple random sampling. So, this is a list of clients and randomly this number of people have been selected. Now, it is not necessary that there should be equal number of male, equal number of female and all, but so be it. So, what we will do is we will continue this session in the next session with the probabilistic sampling, and also we will get into how to understand the right sample size, right. So, what is the right sample size and how either you can go through a mathematical method, or I will also tell you a method in which you can non mathematically also, but you can use your some kind of a rule, thumbs rule we say, to determine what should be your sample size. Okay. Thanks for the moment.